Welcome to Power Up's Ask a Fitness or Health Expert, where we have a variety of guests that volunteer to share their love of fitness or health or products or services, but they're all things good for us. A quick disclosure, this podcast does contain our personal tips, advice, suggestions, and opinions, of course. My honorary guest every week, Jake Weeks, is here to talk about vitamin D, which is so important. How do you feel about vitamin D?
It's great. It's I have a obvious deficiency just based on my pale white skin. Just kidding, I don't. But it's important it's important to get vitamin D. And if you don't get it from the sun because you live in a colder climate, you don't go outside that much, you definitely should supplement with it. It's hard to get if you don't go in the sun. And I was just doing some research in Britain. The National Health Services don't even think that you can get vitamin D basically half of the year from the sun. So you have to supplement there if you want your vitamin D. And for those that don't know, vitamin D helps like channel calcium into your body. It's good for that. And I think that's one of the biggest things it helps with. And it's also like I take it packaged with a K2 supplement because that also helps channel calcium, which keeps your body from like calcifying your arteries, and your bones, will actually calcify, and not good calcification, not strengthening bones, but like extra bone spurs and things like that aren't good. So vitamin D and vitamin K are very important for that. Nice thing about vitamin D is you can get it from the sun. I guess they don't really know exactly how long it takes. I saw one thing that said that it takes about half the time it takes to burn, but it's relative because the darker you are, the longer it takes to get vitamin D. So for me, 5 seconds is enough to get my vitamin D allocation. Just kidding. I do burn easily though. So I have like a very fine balance, and I also don't want like any kind of like discolorations getting darker, even if I don't burn. So I put on sunscreen every day because I do burn a lot, but I spend a lot of time outside. So I think I probably get like still some sun. I don't put as much on my legs in the summertime, but I supplement year round too. So I get my vitamin D. But for those of you that are worried about it, go outside in the sun. It's good to be outside anyway. Besides like the psychological benefits, there are legitimate health reasons to go and be out in the sun. All right. But obviously you don't want to get burnt. A lot of overwhelming evidence about the dangers of sun. And you can't get it through a window either because windows block like UVB rays, which are the ones that help synthesize the vitamin D. So you can't sit inside and gaze out the window. You got to get outside. What about you? You just went to California. I don't know if it's the lighting from outside, but you look like you could use some vitamin D.
I could use some sunlight. Well, here in Washington, today, as I look outside, it's really gloomy. So yeah, I do think it's important to be outdoors at least 10 minutes a day. Obviously, the more skin that's exposed to the sunlight is the better, but it's good for the circadian rhythm as well, not to mention the vitamin D that we need. I do take a supplement through First Form, and it does have the MK2 included in it. And you're right, vitamin D is great for absorbing calcium. It is great for your bone health and growth. Prevents osteoporosis as well as making sure that your vitamin D is at a good level. I do know from what I've read that pretty much everybody is deficient in vitamin D if you're not purposefully supplementing. And that's including all the way down to Texas. So if you're all the way up to Alaska, you need it even more. Or if you're feeling tired all the time, if you have achy bones, achy joints, achy muscles, if you're having a hard time recovering from your workouts, it's possible that your vitamin D levels are low. I get my blood work done twice a year, so that is one of the ones that I ask to get checked, and I'm not sure if it's something that I have to pay for. I think it is. I think it's one of those ones that my insurance doesn't pay for. But if you're feeling low, if you're feeling blue, you're feeling a little bit depressed, and you're noticing the trend that it's happening maybe starting in November and going through until April, it's most likely that's a great sign that you're low on vitamin D. Classic other symptom that you're low on vitamin D is head sweats. So if you feel like you're like sweating from your head, not your armpits, That's another classic sign. But also feeling really tired and run down is a great indication that you might need to get your vitamin D in check. But I will put in the show notes the link to the vitamin D that I take. I do recommend contacting me to learn a little bit more about how to take it. It is something that has to be refrigerated. It's high quality. It's not a capsule or a hard pressed tab that you would get at Costco or any of those stores. I do use a high quality vitamin D. So yeah, I don't know. I am lactose intolerant, so I try to not consume much dairy. So that's another reason why it's really important for me to supplement. I do know that mushrooms are another good source for vitamin D, but in America, with us all trying to produce more and more and more food for capitalism or whatever the motive is, they are growing mushrooms indoors. So the mushrooms are actually showing in the stores, the bulk mushrooms that most of us are buying have a lower vitamin D content. So again, supplementing is really important. I also suggest having a pound of salmon in your diet a week. I wish I could do that. I try to at least get one serving of salmon in a week, but that is another great source of vitamin D. And I believe getting vitamins and micronutrients through food is first and foremost the most important way to go about getting your vitamins.
Well, this one's interesting because it's hard to get. You have to get it from like oily fish. I saw sockeye mackerel, cod liver oil. If you're going to be supplementing for omegas, cod liver oil is a good one for vitamin D too. But what's nice is you can go out in the sun and get it too. So if you don't like those types of foods, or if you just can't have access to them as often as you would like, then supplement or go out in the sun. I'm interested about the high quality, what makes a difference between what you get and just what's sold in the capsules.
Right.
Do you know, is it just synthesized from a food source, or is it a different type of vitamin D? Are there different types?
Well, so this is a fat soluble vitamin that's naturally from food sources. Looking at the ingredients right now. So it actually has vitamin A, vitamin D3, vitamin K, which is the MK7, which is really important. And what is interesting about mentioning this is the fact that when I got my blood work done, not one time ago, 2 times ago, I was actually seeking advice from a nutritionist. And he was, kind of like, oh, what kind of vitamin D do you take? Before I got the blood work done, actually. And he kind of thought that I was going to say Walmart or something, and I didn't. And so he was really inquisitive. He's like, but I bet you it doesn't have MK7 in it. And I was like, actually, it does. But it is, higher quality. It's like a syrup. So it's higher uptake, higher absorption. Liposomal vitamin D3 is actually what it is.
My advice on this to people who might be thinking about this, I've gone through a period where I got like the highest quality ingredients, did liquid vitamins, things that were higher absorption, and it costs a lot. I would say, if you're worried about it, don't let perfection be the enemy of good. Just start getting the important supplements, and then if you have the money and whatever, then you can start going for higher supplements over time. But don't let that discourage you and think, well, I should get the highest quality. You should if you can, but
Right.
Start somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And like Costco has salmon, for instance, because we talked about salmon. I do encourage people to get the wild caught versus the farmed, because the farmed is going to have the higher omega-6 included in that fish, because they're fish that are farmed. From what I've read and understood, they feed them a lot of corn, which in turn, corn is really not good for us. So, but vitamin D is a great topic. I know that that's something that I encourage my clients to get tested for. Really, it's a matter of any supplement. I really honestly believe you should get blood work and find out if you need it, because when I first started bodybuilding, I had a coach that told me you should have all these supplements, take all these supplements. And nothing was ever said about getting blood work done. And so for 18 months, I was taking iron and had no idea that my body holds on to iron. And I just kept feeling tired and sluggish. And I was just like run down. And I'm like, is this really how it's supposed to feel? And So when I got my blood work done, it was sky high, my iron levels. So it's really something to be aware of. You know, do your research on your own body and be aware. So you know, that's my
There's a
disclaimer.
lot of misinformation about supplements out there. You do have to be careful. Vitamin D, it's pretty hard to get too much from supplements or food. You can get too much sun. I don't know if you get too much vitamin D from the sun. As far as the antioxidant vitamins go, the ones that are letters, basically, it's hard to get too much of those, but you definitely want to be careful about minerals like the iron and things like calcium. We encourage people to take calcium supplements. I've come across doctors who say you should never recommend a calcium supplement except in the most extreme cases, you know, and that they can lead to overcalcification of almost every part of your body. And that's really where the vitamin D and the vitamin K come in and help. And magnesium actually helps with that too. So
but my blood work showed I was low on calcium on my last round. So, but I am consuming an eggshell calcium specifically, which is kind of harder to find. You're not going to find that, you know, at Walgreens or any of those. You really have to find good, high quality eggshell calcium. But yeah, again, it comes back to your blood work. You're right. You don't want to go and take calcium if you don't need to. I mean, that's an expense, number one. And number two, you just need to be aware of what your unique body needs.
Yeah, be careful. Talk to doctors, get professional advice. Look at the latest research because it changes. And be careful with the ones that are sensitive. You can have really too much or too little. Take a lot of antioxidants. They're good for you.
And really quality food, really.
That's really,
yeah.
That is the best thing you can do is eat high quality food, various sources of food.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing is a lot of people get stuck in a rut and they're just eating the same thing and because of ease or, you know, or maybe it's a drive-through, I don't know, but that's just horrible for us. I cringe every day. I drive by billboards that are like 2 for $1 on their whatever meal plan. I don't know, but it just makes me cringe. Like, where's the vitamins? Where's the nutrition? And I don't know. And for me, you know, I think it's having a paradigm that says food is fuel. I mean, I would say 90% of the time I view food as fuel. I love food. I'm a foodie. I love high quality, lovely food. So the other 10% is maybe, you know, going off the scale a little bit. But honestly, it is about majority of the time thinking of food as fuel.
Nice job.
Yeah. So you're feeling good and complete on vitamin D?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to go get some sun.
Well, good luck
get
today.
My allocation. Thanks.
I mean, getting out and I love the fact that you do use sunscreen and you're very aware because your skin is really important as well. We don't want to destroy our skin or create other problems or issues, but I do believe that supplementing, eating the right amount of food are great ways to stay healthy. But, you know, really it's about how you feel and going and getting blood work if you're not feeling right. You don't feel like something's working. And here's the thing that I've learned is one doctor might say, yeah, you're fine. Your blood work's great. Perfect. No problem. And you still don't feel good. Go find another doctor or find out what blood tests really need to be done. And I'm just going to warn you, insurance companies are not going to pay for a lot of the ones that you're probably needing to get done. So
yeah, which is a real shame that you have to pay so much money to kind of get the information you need to take care of yourself. But sometimes just changing your diet and just having one supplement, one vitamin, one mineral, more or less of it can really change the way you feel and the way your body metabolizes and how successful you are in your fitness goals and other things. So,
right. So how can someone reach you?
fitandhappyclub.com. Awesome. Call me, go there, get my number, and then call me. And then set up an appointment for 2 free sessions and a free assessment of all things.
Great. And I'll put the link below so everybody can easily click on that. But yeah, I think this was a great topic. And I know it's really important and hopefully we've added a little bit of awareness to somebody's day.
Thanks. We added a little sunshine to somebody's day.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. See you later.
All right. Thanks, Jake.